Hello friends, welcome to the fourth round of this battle for the conquest of the Commissar's house in Stalingrad in the winter of 1942. The forces of both sides have already demonstrated their preparatory tactics for the brutal final clash around the German fortress in 20Z3. The Soviets have already brought in a large part of their forces and at this moment are concentrating them on various levels within the fortress and its surroundings. The Germans, after the easy victory in the conquest of the chemical shop building in 20S6, are rallying their units in this area to try to eliminate the last pockets of resistance in the sector so that they can direct the units concentrated there to try to open a new front from the east. The large concentration of elite German units is located north of the Commissar's house, and at this moment, they are organizing themselves to be able to direct their efforts towards the objective. This attack must necessarily be coordinated because, as we saw in the third round, the attack by isolated formations on the Soviet fortress, which has enormous firepower concentrated there, is doomed to failure. In this turn, the Germans' priority is to eliminate pockets of resistance on the outskirts of the Soviet stronghold and, if possible, gain the important concealment marker in the same process. After this introduction, let's get to the battle. Rally phase, German phase of the fourth turn. Wind change 10, no wind change. German units rally attempt. No German units with multiple men qualify for auto-rally, and we will start the German units rally attempt at 20 FF6. These units will be supported by the leader 80. The modifiers will be +4, the aim, -1, building. 7 + 3, 10, the leader does not recover morale. 4 + 3, 7, the half squad recovers morale. The DAIM marker is removed and a stacking reorganization is performed. Units rally attempt at Hex 20 BB6. These units will be supported by the leader 80 with the modifiers of +4 for units under the DAIM marker, -2, leader and building. 9 - 2, 7, the half squad recovers morale. 7 + 2, 9, the German leader does not recover morale. 4 + 2, 6, both half squads recover morale. These units were broken and therefore do not have the right to concealment, whose markers are removed as well as the DAIM markers. Attempted rally by the Soviet squad in 20S7 with the modifiers of -1, German leader, -1, building. 7 - 2, 5, the squad recovers morale. Let's go to the Soviets. Attempted rally by the squad in 20 × 4 with the modifier of -1, building. 9 - 1, 8, morale is not recovered. Hex 20 R3 with the modifier of -1, building. One of the squads recovers morale. Attempted auto-rally by the Soviet leader in 20 CC2 with the modifiers of +1, auto-rally, -1, building. 8. The leader regains morale and will assist the squad to regain morale with the modifiers -1, building, -1, leader. 7 - 2, 5, the squad regains morale. Attempt to regain light machine gun function at 20 DD to requiring 1 for success. 1 success. Prep fire phase. stacking with the leader 10-2 at 20 E5 will fire on the Soviets entrenched at GG2 with 24 firepower reduced by half due to the target being beyond the ideal range of the German units. The modifiers will be +2, trench, -2, leader. 11. Unsuccessful. Movement phase. Squads on the upper floor of 20S6 move to hex R5. Leader 8-1 and a squad, both under the concealment marker, move from 20S7 to R5. Stacking at 20 Q9 moves to the gully at Q7. Stack with the leader 9-1 and the machine guns move from the upper deck of 20 P8 to Q9. The Germans will try to move towards a situation where they can take the all-important concealment markers. Stack at 20 W8 moves to W7. Half squad with the flamethrower moves from 20 CC6 to BB6. Let's analyze the situation of the German units in hex 20 FF6. In this hex we have a leader carrying a demolition charge. The Germans want this leader to remain in this hex to help recover the morale of the other German leader whose morale has been broken. There is still a half squad stationed there, and the idea is for this half squad to take control of the demolition charge and move towards hex 20 DD6. Normally, the free and direct transfer of support weapons can only be done in the rally advance phases, Rule A4.431. To evaluate the possibilities for changing the user of the support weapon outside of these phases, let's consult the rulebook and see what we can do. Support weapons can be abandoned by their users during the movement phase, at no cost in terms of movement factors, Rule A4.431. If this abandonment is done before the expenditure of movement factors, this weapon is considered, these weapons are considered as not possessed and can be recovered. To recover an abandoned weapon, it is necessary to spend one movement factor and obtain a result on the roll of 1 die less than 6. In jungle situations, a modifier of +1 is added to the result of the dice, Rule 4.44. Hypothetically, once the demolition charge is recovered, the half squad will head to 20 DD6. In this movement, it will enter the sights of the dangerous Soviet heavy machine gun at 20 GG2 with the modifier of -2, which will be extremely dangerous. To prevent this from happening, one of the squads at 20 DD6 will try to launch a smoke grenade at hex E6, minimizing the risks in the future movement of the half squad with the demolition charge. 3. The smoke marker is successfully deposited in hex 20 E6. The German leader, in turn, abandoned the demolition charge and ceases his participation in this phase. The half squad will try to recover the demolition charge using one factor movement and requiring a die result lower than 6. 5. The demolition charge is recovered by the half squad that crosses hex 20 E7 to enter the desired hex, DD6, after a long and complicated process. The Soviets with the heavy machine gun choose not to fire on the movement of the German half squad during the passage through hex 20 E7. Movement of the German units from 20 FF8 to DD6. Defensive fire phase. Fire of the stack with the medium machine guns in 20 Z4 against the German units in R5 with 12 firepower with the modifiers of -1, leader, +1, hindrance through the hex with orchard in S5. If successful, the German units under the concealment marker will be attacked with 6 firepower. 12 without success and the machine guns become malfunctioning, with a bad result for the Soviets. Squad with the heavy machine gun in 20 GG2 fires a shot on the German pileup in E5 with 8 firepower +2, wooden house. 1, 3, 4, plus 2, 6, 1 morale check and the machine gun maintains the rate of fire. 4 plus 1, 5, the leader passes and will assist in the morale test of the squads in the same hex. The second squad is pinned and there is a possible activation of the Soviet sniper. The rest of the squads pass the test. New shot using the rate of fire with 6 firepower plus 2. 3, 2, 5, plus 2, 7, normal morale check. With 4 the German leader passes again and, with the result of double 1, the second squad activates the heat of battle event. There is still a new possible activation of the Soviet sniper and the third squad should have its morale broken but Jim considers it only as pinned. Let's evaluate what will happen to the German squad that obtained the result of double 1 in the morale test assessment and will trigger the heat of battle event. The modifier when the dice are rolled it will be -1 because the Germans are considered elite. 3 minus 1, 2, a leader is created as well as the battle hardening event. Hero 149 is deposited on the ground and the German squad that is already elite becomes fanatic. New shot using the machine gun's rate of fire with 6 firepower plus 2. 1, 5, 6, plus 2, 8, pin test check and the machine gun maintains the rate of fire. Let's check the activation of the Soviet sniper. 2. The minus sniper is activated. The unit to be attacked by the sniper will be chosen among the units in the stack at 20 BB6. The half squad is attacked and becomes pinned. New possibility of activating the Soviet sniper, 5, unsuccessful. New shot using the machine gun's rate of fire with 6 firepower plus 2. 1, 2, 3, plus 2, 5, 2 morale check and the machine gun maintains the rate of fire and there is a possible activation of the German sniper. 11 plus 1, 12, the German leader breaks. 7 plus 1, 8, the hero passes. The next two squads break but Jim considers the fanatic squad as pinned. And the third squad passes. Attempt to activate the Soviet sniper, 6, without success. New shot using the rate of fire of the Soviet heavy machine gun with 6 firepower plus 2. 3, 4, 7, plus 2, 9, without success and the machine gun maintains the rate of fire. And we go to the incredible fifth shot using the rate of fire of the heavy machine gun. 4, 6, 10, plus 2, 12, without success and finally the machine gun loses the rate of fire. Firing from the second level at 20 A4 on the German stack at DD6 with 12 firepower plus 3, stone house. 9 plus 3, 12, unsuccessful. Advancing fire phase. No actions. Rout phase. No actions. Advance phase. 2 squads from 20 DD5 to CC5. The last squad from 20 DD5 to DD4. Stacking from 20 DD6 to DD5. Half squad with flamethrower from 20 BB6 to BB5. 20 W7 under the trench at W6. 20 S7 to R6 where it will be able to recover the concealment marker. 20 R5 to R4. 20 Q7 to R6. To avoid overstacking in Hex 20 R6, one of the squads in Q7 moves under the bridge at Q6. Close combat phase. No close combat. The German units that are not in line of sight of the enemy and are in concealment terrain take the important concealment markers. and we are off to the Soviet phase of the fourth turn. Rally phase Soviet fourth turn. Wind change 9, no change in wind. Attempt to rally Soviet units in hex 20 times 4 with the modifier -1 building. 7-1, 6, the squad recovers morale. Attempt to rally in hex 20R3 with the modifier -1 building. 8-1, 7, the squad recovers morale. Attempt to rally the German leader in 20E5 with the modifiers +4, Diane, +1, auto-rally, -1, building. 9+3, 12, the leader does not recover morale, and the Diane marker is removed. Attempt to rally the German leader in 20BB6 with the modifiers -1, leader, -1, building. 7-2, 5, the leader recovers morale. Attempt to recover the function of Soviet medium machine guns in 20Z4. The machine guns do not recover their function. In hex 20BB6 we find 3 half squads, and we will evaluate, in the rulebook, the possibility of recombining these squads. Rule 1.32 Recombination. Any two H's in good order of the same nationality with an identical strength factor may automatically recombine as their only action in that rally phase into a squad of the same type and class at the start of any rally phase in which they occupy the same location and terrain with a good order leader. In this way, 2 German half squads in 20BB6 recombine and form a squad 838. The same process is performed with 2 half squads in 20DD5 and they become 1 squad 838. Attempt of delayed rally by the German leader in 20FF6 with the modifier of -1 building. 2. The leader recovers morale. Prep fire phase. Firing of the Soviet stack in 20R3 on the Germans in R4. The Soviet squad that was hidden waives this condition. The firing will be carried out with 12 firepower on the units under the concealment marker and 24 firepower on the units without this marker. The modifier will be +2, wooden house. 7+2, 9. Normal morale check on the units under the concealment marker and to morale check on the units without the concealment marker. The 2 units under the concealment marker maintain their morale. One of the squads without the concealment marker has its morale broken. The units on the second level at 20A4 and Z4 fire on the Germans at BB5 with 24 firepower reduced by half because the target is under the concealment marker +2, wooden house. 4+2, 6, to morale check. 8+2, 10, the half squad has its morale broken. The Soviet units on levels 0 and 1 of hexes 20A4 and Z4 form a mega fire group and attack the Germans at CC5 with 44 firepower reduced half because the target is under the concealment marker +2, wooden house. 7+2, 9, 1 morale check and the Germans lose the concealment marker. 5+1, 6, the first squad passes. 4+1, 5, the second squad also passes the morale check. Movement phase. Stack in 20 times 4 moves to Z3. Leader 8-1 on the second level of 20Z4 to ground level in Z3. Leader 9-1 on the first level of 20A4 to Z3. Squad in 20V2 to T2 keeping the concealment marker. Defensive fire phase. German stack in 20R4 fires on the enemy in R3 with 16 firepower +2, wooden house, -1, leader. 8+1, 9.1 morale check. The Soviets are very lucky and none of these units have their morale broken, and to squads whose dice result is double 1 will suffer the effects of the heat of battle. The modifier for the Soviets will be +2. 3 + 2, 5. The first squad suffers the effect of battle hardening and becomes a squad 458. A Soviet leader is generated and there is a possible activation of the German sniper, which, for a change, Jim forgot to try to activate. 9 + 2, 11. The second squad goes berserk. The German units in hexes 20 DD4 and CC5 form a fire group and attack the Soviets at ground level in A4 with 24 firepower and the modifier of +3. 5 + 3, 8, to morale check. On the roll of the dice, 2 squads have their morale broken and squad 6 to 8 maintains its morale intact. Advancing fire phase. No actions. Rout phase. Half squad from 20 BB5 to BB6. Soviets in 20 A4 to Z3. 20 R4 moves to S7. Advance phase. The leader 8-0 and 2 squads from 20 R3 to S4 and the Berserk squad, which cannot move in the advance phase, remains in the same hex. 20 T2 to T3. 20 CC2 to DD2. Close combat phase. German stacking in the trench at 20 W6 reclaims the concealment marker. Rally phase German 5th turn. Alright friends, at this point, at the end of the 4th turn, we will close this episode. During this phase, there were several activations of the heat of battle effect, with the creation of a hero for each faction. One of the German units became fanatical, while a Soviet squad had its quality increased, battle hardening, and another became berserk and will attack the Germans in the next movement phase. Another activity carried out in this episode was a more in-depth study of the transfer and recovery of support weapons, in addition to the recombination of half squads. The Germans have already consolidated their position in building 20 S6 and are moving the reserve units towards the Commissar's house, where the pioneer units are already preparing for the attack. The Soviets, in turn, have already moved a large part of their troops to building 20 Z3, where they will establish the last bastion of defense against the enemy. I hope to see you soon. Namaste.